you are serving your country in the United States military and you're going through a divorce, you probably know that you have an obligation to support your family and your spouse. It's usually called spousal support or family support in the military. Each branch of the service handles it a little bit differently, enforces it a little bit differently, and has different requirements as to the amount that you have to pay. But each branch of the service requires it. It's military law. If you don't do it, you can get in trouble. Here's the problem, though. The military will defer to state court orders on support. So if you get a state court order that provides that you pay less than what the military would have you pay, the military will defer to that order. I've seen cases where the spouses of service members to whom they are required to pay family support actually make more money than the service member. In those cases, it's imperative that you and your lawyer go to court and get an order that you don't have to provide that support. Otherwise, you're going to end up paying it. If you're a service member serving your country in the United States military, or if you're married to a service member and you are about to go through a divorce, be very careful who you choose as your divorce attorney. There are a lot of divorce attorneys out there, but very few divorce attorneys that truly understand the complexities of a military divorce. Things like how we calculate child support based on a service member's income. Do we include BAH and BAS in that calculation? If your attorney that you're interviewing to possibly hire doesn't know the answer to that, doesn't have a clue what BAH and BAS is, move on to the next guy. What about the military pension? How do we divide that? If you hadn't been married 10 years, can your spouse still get a portion of your retirement? Well, the answer is yes, in most every state. But if a lawyer doesn't know that, a divorce attorney, and you're interviewing him to possibly hire him or her, move on to the next person. There are all sorts of little things about a military divorce that if a divorce attorney hasn't practiced in that area before, they are not going to know the answer to. So be very careful who you hire to handle your divorce if you're in the service or married to a service member. What happens when a parent is in the military and can't exercise regular parenting time that parents that are in the civilian world would be able to exercise? That happens a lot, believe it or not. Service members are usually stationed somewhere other than their kids. And it's difficult logistically to get parenting time that would be considered standard parenting time. Number one, the military duties take precedence over just about everything else. So even if you have parenting time with your kids, sometimes it's difficult to exercise that parenting time. I have plenty of cases involving service members where we try our best to give a service member as much time as possible with the kids. There's always Skype, FaceTime, Zoom, but that's not a substitute for actual parenting time. Compound that with the situation of being deployed overseas where you're gone for 9 months to 12 months at a time. Best thing to do is talk to an attorney well-versed in your state in military divorce issues. Jim was Lieutenant Commander of the United States Navy, and he had patience. He could wait things out. He was deployed overseas at some point, and his wife filed for divorce. He was able to delay those proceedings for about 3 years. He didn't really want a divorce, didn't really care one way or the other, but his wife sure wanted one. She had moved on, found somebody new, wanted to get married to him, start a whole new life. Now, they'd been married for about 15 years, so she was entitled to half his retirement, half his TSP, half of just about everything. He didn't want her to get any of his retirement or his TSP, so he just drug things out. After about 3 years, finally, she gave up. She threw in the towel. She said, "You can keep your military retirement, your TSP. I just want a divorce." So she signed the paperwork and the judge granted the divorce. In that case, he had a lot of patience. That cost Mom close to $300,000 in lost income from the retirement and the TSP, but it saved Dad the same amount.
You could try to play it, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing